Something I wish my parents had said to me growing up. Even when I'm angry, I still love you. I now know as an adult that they did feel that way, but as a kid, I genuinely thought it was one or the other.
My name is Kelly Tay. I am from Singapore, and I used to be a journalist, and I career pivoted into parent education.
I really align with the values that Kelly has been teaching. I think all her messaging about her growing up, it was very healing for me and my inner child.
I think a lot of us grow up in Asian households and we understand a lot of the conversations.
It's a different perspective, something that they may have overlooked or they haven't come across before.
I'm not going to raise spoiled kids. I don't want to do that. I also don't want to be harsh and hit my kids. If we change like hit a child, turn the word to hit my wife, that's not okay. That's assault, that's battery. Somehow we have a double standard when it comes to kids. It's okay to hit kids, at least in Asia. It's still legal, you can still do it in schools to boys in Singapore where I'm from. But I have finally found a way to parent that was different from what had come before. I left the corporate world because I had my daughter. And I enjoyed motherhood so much, I wanted to be with her. And at the same time, when I became a mom, I realized I don't really know what to do and how to raise a good human being. I just know how to do what my parents did, which is based on what my grandparents did, which is based on what my great-grandparents did, and that was generally very harsh upbringing.
Asian parents are sold this lie that we have to dominate our kids in order for them to respect us. But that is not true.
I kind of put my journalist hat on and I dove deep into the research. What is out there that is a viable alternative? I started doing all these courses and they weren't just on discipline, they were also things like the child's brain development, gross motor development, starting solids. And what I noticed was the common thread in all these things that really resonated with me was being respectful toward your child. Seeing them as a whole person from birth. Not just like a human being in training, like no, you're a human being from birth, you deserve respect from birth. The problem was, and what led me to start my business, was that most of these resources were created by Caucasian people, for Caucasian people.
Here are 3 habits I've had to unlearn because they no longer serve me or my child. First, I have stopped giving my kids the silent treatment when I'm pissed. I now say I can feel myself getting frustrated. I'm going to take some space to calm my body down. Second, I have stopped pretending that I have done nothing wrong. I now say, I don't like the way I handled that. You don't deserve that. Can I try again? Third, I have stopped beating myself up over my parenting mistakes. I really give myself grace and compassion because I know I'm doing something no generation has ever done before me. So of course it's going to be hard.
I started realizing that a lot of what was being taught wasn't fully applicable in an Asian cultural context. Because a lot of times people hear, what, you don't hit your kids? That's such a white person thing. Like, no, that's not applicable to my family.
The solution is not to gaslight and pretend that everything's okay. It is to speak plainly and acknowledge it's okay that things feel a little bit off and take a while, and I'm here as long as you need.
For the longest time at play dates, at playgrounds, both friends and strangers would come up to me and say, hey, why are you talking to a baby like this? She doesn't understand you. And so I would explain, well, I'm learning these things from these courses that actually she does understand me. Maybe not my words, but she understands my tone, my facial expression, my hands, the touch of my hands. And all of that matters, even from infancy. And people would be like, that's really cool. Can you teach me? And I'm like, no, I don't teach, but here are all the courses I'm doing, here are all the podcasts I'm listening to, all the research journals I'm reading. Go read them yourself. And the constant refrain was, I don't have time, I don't have the interest. Can you condense it for me, please? Hello and welcome to the Juicy Fam. I am so happy to see you here. I wanted to take just a few minutes to tell you my top 3 tips for getting the most out of your Juicy Fam membership. Honestly, I knew nothing about memberships. When I started my business, I was really clear I didn't want it to just stop at a course. I wanted some kind of ongoing coaching component because parenting, it's a daily struggle. Things come up every day and I don't want to just be like, here's the content, you're on your own. I really wanted it to be, I've taught you the skills, come practice together and I will troubleshoot when you find that, something is not working the way you'd like. I launched and I opened 30 spaces and it sold out in a few hours. And I was like, okay, I guess this could be a business, this is working. I had this big mindset shift about 2 years into my business when I realized that what was getting me here so far was not going to get me there where I wanted to go, and I realized I couldn't keep doing the same things. I needed a fresh perspective. It was time to invest in my business. It was time to invest in myself, and that I just needed support.
I gotta give a shout out to Kelly. Like, Kelly, if you're open to sharing, Share with everybody what you just recently did with your Instagram.
I met Stu in July for VIP Day. And that was one of the things that he said. I did not bring it up, but he said, you know, you might want to think about starting a new account and starting from scratch. And it's been huge. I just finished a paid trial and I had the biggest conversion rate of the smallest ever audience. So something's going well.
Pretty amazing.
What really drew me to Stu specifically, obviously his knowledge about memberships. It's so niche. Like, there are many people who talk about causes, but I really wanted to go deep on my membership. And B, honestly, just his values. I feel like it resonates with me. This commitment to family first and to running your business in a way that supports the life you want to lead. I didn't quit my corporate career and then start a business to just be a slave to another firm, you know? I did do one-on-ones when I first started, and now I've stopped because I realized I can have so much more impact when I do group coaching. And what's really powerful is I'm not just reaching people in Singapore or physically, geographically in Asia. I'm reaching a lot of the diaspora, people who grew up in Asia and have now moved to a different country, and they feel like they're raising their kids in a cultural setting that doesn't really get their values. And now I'm able to reach people who are, living in Europe, in America, in Canada, in Australia, who feel like, okay, I found my people.
In that community, people feel connected in a way that they can't get outside of that community.
The online membership, specifically the online space, being able to reach people and having that impact, it's been really, really life-changing for me, and then also just hearing the stories of transformation. I have many stories of people coming to me saying that I've saved their marriage. And I think to me that's really, I believe a lot in marriages. I take it very seriously, and I think a lot of times when people are struggling in their marriages, it's because they're fighting about how to parent. And I'm always like, it doesn't have to be so hard, people. You can do this. So the saving marriages one always gets me.